all the commercial auto insurance interviews that I've been doing. Yeah, just join the chat and let me know where you're at. What's going on? So I've been doing interviews for commercial auto insurance. So about a year ago, what's up, Dominic? What's going on, man? About a year ago, I did some research on a specific Uber ride. It doesn't really matter, and I posted my report about Uber's commercial auto insurance. Thanks so much, Dominic. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. And let me give you the I'll give you the details here. So what had happened is I did the exact same ride. It's right about 60 miles. I did it over a 2-year time period. I did it 100 and I don't know, 150 times, something like that. And so I analyzed how much the passenger paid over that period of time, and then I analyzed how much I got paid, the cost breakdown, and all this kind of stuff. And what I found out was the commercial auto insurance on this same 60-mile ride charged me $15 or $13, and then all the way upwards of $50. So I made a YouTube video about it, and I ended up getting in touch with a guy named oh my gosh, Lynn Sherman. He's a professor at Columbia University. And then, let's put up a poll here. Is Uber's commercial auto insurance a scam? Real? Put it up there. All right, now I got it. Hey, what's going on, Will from Cleveland? What's going on, man? So I ended up doing this, and let me know your thoughts on Uber's commercial auto insurance here in the chat if you've had any crazy experiences. So anyway, I did this analysis of Uber's commercial auto insurance, and I made a YouTube video about it. Got in touch with a guy named Lynn Sherman. Lynn Sherman is a professor at Columbia University, and he went through all of my data, did some another analysis, and he ended up producing a report this year. Now, this report is really timely because what ended up happening is there's some other Uber pricing reports going on. You've probably seen it at the Today Show, New York Times, and a bunch of other people are doing these pricing things on Uber. Well, anyway, my report is a part of a lot of these, my analysis is part of a lot of these reports. So newspapers and reporters and such have been contacting me to kind of get an Uber driver perspective on Uber's commercial auto insurance. And now last week I did a ride along. So I had some reporter, I won't give you their name till they release the report, but they actually flew into town, interviewed me in my car. Then we did some experiments to try to find out what Uber's commercial auto insurance and pricing was. And from there, we did a sit down interview. And it kind of looked like one of those Netflix interviews. See if I can actually find it. See if I can change the background here. This is kind of what it looked like. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Oh, this would be funny. Just to laugh at me here. Let's see here. No, maybe I don't have it. I didn't download it. Maybe I should download it. But it looked like a Netflix interview. I'll turn that off here. There you go. So yeah, so I've been doing a lot of participation in press, news reports, you name it, on Uber's commercial auto insurance. and this is kind of the transaction I think that's been going on. What's going on, Stevie from in New York City? Man, I tell you what, New York City Uber drivers, you got it going on. That's really tough. And Ginole, did I say that right? What's going on? Hey, so let me know in the chat if you've had any issues with Uber's commercial auto insurance, because I've got some more reporters I got to talk with in the next few weeks. So I've got interviews set up 2 weeks from now and a few others. And I'm pretty excited about it. I don't think I'm being dishonest about what's going on. What's going on? Some more people from the city, Jersey. What's going on? Um, yeah, but the bottom line is here's what I think's happening with Uber's commercial auto insurance. Orlando, fantastic. So Uber finds a passenger that's going to pay the highest price. Let's say $100 to go from wherever to wherever. That $100. Then the next thing they do in the transaction is they go to find an Uber driver for the lowest price. Let's just say they pay the driver $40. So they charge 100 and they pay the driver 40. So 40% of the fare. And that's pretty common for me right now. That's kind of my norm at this point in time. So that $60 has to get broken down in a couple of different ways. And what's been happening is they have taxes and fees. They got to pay that. So they put that over there. The next part of the transaction is Uber pays themselves, but they never pay themselves more than they're going to pay us as drivers. So if I got $40, Uber might pay themselves $39, and then the balance, whatever that balance is, goes to commercial auto insurance. So instead of charging commercial auto insurance based upon, I don't know, a rate or anything like that, basically what they're doing is charging commercial auto insurance based upon how much they can get out of the transaction, and they put it into an account, say throughout the year, the month, the day, or whatever, and they've got $100 million in this account, and then they pay out of that. Now there's a bunch of other technical stuff that I don't know, and I'm not saying Uber is doing anything illegal because I don't know about that. What I do know is if you were to take all the commercial auto insurance that I pay in a given month, my commercial auto insurance bill would be $2,300 a month for commercial auto insurance. So Uber makes it seem like I got to pay $30,000 a year for commercial auto insurance. How crazy is that? so, so yeah, there you go. So let me know. That's commercial auto insurance is a boring subject, I know, but I think it's really important to put the facts out there for people to be aware of and to kind of know what's going on. And it's been kind of cool because I've been doing some of those experiments as YouTube videos and doing a lot of research. That research has made its way into the mainstream media. And yeah, now I know some people are kind of like, Levi, you're going to get kicked off the Uber app by pointing this stuff out. I don't think so. I think I'm a great driver. I think I do a really good job. And I think I'm really fair. I think if you were to watch these interviews that I've had with the reporters, I'm not hypercritical of Uber. I am critical, and there are things that need to get fixed with Uber. But at the same time, I think they're doing things legally. And it can be frustrating. It can be unfair. It could be even immoral, some of the things they do to drivers. But the best I can tell is they're operating within the law, and it is what it is. So have you ever had a commercial auto insurance claim with Uber? Have you ever had to contact Uber because your car was damaged, you got in a wreck or anything? I'd like to know. The other thing I'd like to know is have you seen and checked your commercial auto insurance rates as a driver? So there's that. Just so you know, I'm watching the World Cup. The game was supposed to come on. The Mexico-England match was supposed to come on in the next 5 minutes, but it's been delayed. So now I'm kind of sitting there checking things out. So I thought I'd reach out to you guys. All right, I'm going to ask another question to the chat here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, Corona says, Transport says, how are you, Levi? I followed you from Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens. Let's do it. That's where my son lives. In fact, I'm taking my son to the bus stop tonight. He's going back to Brooklyn, so there's that. Can we post passenger and driver dash cam videos on YouTube? Um, Legally, you probably can. That doesn't mean you can't get kicked off the Uber app. If you notice, a lot of the dash cam footage that I post on my channel, I blur out the passenger. Sometimes I even, if I do a photo, it's a little inside secret. I change them using AI. So I changed that passenger from one person to another. So I really think it's good for us to keep the anonymity and the discretion, or use discretion by not posting pictures or things of our passengers. Dominic says, please keep posting. You're very informative. It's a great source of inspiration for me. Hey, my pleasure. I really appreciate it, man. They are self-insured, so they bank a lot of money and set it aside, lawsuits, legal expenses, etc. I think that's what they're doing. That's what it looks like what they're doing, but I don't know. I'm not an expert in it. Gianelli says, thank you, Levi. I love what you're doing from the Bay Area. Man, I bet you got some great weather there. The Bay Area is amazing. Let's see, R3G says, great. Thank you, Levi. James D's Nuts says, how much deductible for that $3,000 premium? That's the crazy thing. The $3,000 premium, and it's not really $3,000 premium because they charge you per ride. If you try to make it an annual or a per month basis, it's $2,500 deductible. How about that? Isn't that nuts? So I'm paying $3,000 a month, give or take, for commercial auto insurance or whatever the number is. And when I do have a car wreck and I have to make a claim, that commercial auto insurance, I still have to pay $2,500 out of pocket. So there's that. I can't afford the insurance for the TLC in New York City, so I drive in the suburbs. Yeah, okay. That's what I like to do. When I go down to New York City, I occasionally, like when I go down to visit my son, he lives in New York City, I'll head up to, he lives in Brooklyn, so I'll go up to Long Island and stuff like that. There's not a lot of money for me because I just don't know the city that well. I don't know Long Island that well, but I do go out that way. Eric, there he is. What's going on, Eric? Man, Eric says, I had a semi-truck tire tread hit my front end on the freeway in phase 2 on an Uber, and it was a $2,500 deductible. Yes, right. The damage was $2,200, so I paid the whole thing out of pocket. It's just so frustrating, isn't it? It's just such a scam. Alex says, if you get banned, can they? I don't know. I don't know about anything about being banned or unbanned. Here's my thing about being banned or deactivated from Uber, is I just know the day's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and so I'm mentally prepared for it, and I'm just gonna move on with my life. That's basically what's gonna happen. I'm gonna switch up the question here. Let's see if we can get a new question here. So that's the update on the commercial auto insurance. If you guys want to know any more about those interviews, let me know. I want to ask you guys some other questions here. Let's see here. What's a good question to ask everybody in the chat here? Do you have any good stories? Uber stories, because I like Uber stories. And they don't have to be bad good. They can be good. There you go. So that's what's going on with the commercial auto insurance. If you have any other questions about commercial auto insurance, let me know. And why do you think Uber's going to ban you? I don't think Uber's going to ban me, first and foremost. I don't think that they would kick me off or deactivate me from the app. I'm a super safe driver, perfect 5 stars. Passengers love me, just like the way they love you guys. So I'm no different than you. And I don't think I'm unfair to Uber. So I think there are some content creators that call Uber evil, or Dara Khosrowshahi is evil. You know what I mean? They're like making personal attacks that are unsubstantiated. Doesn't necessarily mean our emotions and our feelings about the apps aren't real. But, what are we going to do about it? How do people do Uber in new cars? It's really not that hard. You just have to Uber a lot. I wouldn't recommend buying a new car to be an Uber driver, but if you like new cars and you buy a new car, you can still do it. It will get damaged, so there's that. It would be cheaper to do commercial auto insurance and start your own business. See, Eric. Oh, Eric, you bring this up all the time. Now, I live in the state of New York. So Eric, if I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. But Eric always talks about going and doing private rides, becoming a private Uber driver, doing rides like that. Well, in the state of New York, there's a couple of criteria that you have to do private rides. Number one is you have to have the car registered under what's called livery plates or taxi plates, one or the other. Livery plates means that people can contact you ahead of time. It's an audio lag. That's no good. So there's an audio lag. I'm going to keep talking, let this stuff happen the way it's going to happen here. But so to do private rides here in the state of New York, you have to have livery plates or taxi plates. Livery plates means people pre-order you ahead of time, which is the business I would do. Taxi means that you could do curbside pickup, and I would never do that. Now, to get livery plates, you have to have commercial auto insurance, which is fine. And the commercial auto insurance rates that I was quoted was right around $700-800 a month for commercial auto insurance. And it didn't matter which vehicle I got. It has whether it was a Cadillac Escalade, a Tesla, or Prius, it didn't really matter. So if I got commercial auto insurance and livery plates, you could set up a business and then people can prepay you for rides, pickups at the airport or anything like that. Thanks, I appreciate Dominic. Now, the downside is this. Once I get livery plates and commercial auto insurance, in the state of New York, there aren't personal I guess personal is the right way to say it, but you can't do, you can only get commercial auto insurance. You can't get regular auto insurance on a car that has livery plates. And then Uber said to me, well, you can't do Uber with just commercial auto insurance. You have to have regular auto insurance, which means for me to set up a private business legally here in the state of New York, I have to have two cars if I want to continue to do Uber. I can do livery, but I have to set up that car strictly to do livery pickups. I can go pick up people at the airport and bring them to wherever, or take them to the airport, or do private rides. But I can't take that car and do Uber with it, and I can't take that car and go to the grocery store with it, or go to the golf course, or do anything personal with it. I can't take it out of state and drive it. So there's just really no value in me setting up a private ride business. I had purchased the LLC. I had got started on the process of doing it. Here's the thing that was really interesting about it. I actually had a client and we had a contract. That's what it was. So I got really knee deep in this. I'll do more details later, but the contract was for $50,000 for 2 years. So $25,000 a year to be a private, almost a chauffeur for an executive that did a lot of business travel between where I live, New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, and stuff like that. So I had a contract and a client, and I could have just did private rides that way. And we had it all set up. It was perfect. It was really a great business model. But that car, I would have had to purchase a car and dedicate it to private rides, which would have made me almost a full-time private ride person to pay for a $50,000, $60,000, whatever car, it doesn't really matter. And I did have a client paying me $25,000 a year, but I'd have to come up with another $75,000 a year worth of business. Could I have done it? Maybe. That's a huge risk. And so I just didn't want to do it. So every time people tell me, oh, you should just go private, I have to tell you, I really don't want to do that. And it's not that there's more money in it or whatever. I'm sure there is. I just don't want to do that. One of the benefits of being an Uber driver is the flexibility and freedom. I could just turn it on and go drive whenever I want to drive. Like right now, my parents are in town visiting. They're right over there, and I just didn't drive this whole weekend. If I had a private ride business and one of my private clients contacted me, I would feel obligated to go drive them. So that's just kind of why I don't like private ride businesses. Let's see what we got here. William says, yes, in Ohio, those same rules, livery plates and livery commercial owners, but they're not very expensive here in the state of Ohio. I use it to remember. Okay, that's right. It was easy for me to make $100,000 private business. Yeah, see, and I think $100,000 is good money. I think you've got it set up the way I would do it if I could do it the way you do it, Eric. Now, there's some downsides to a private ride business that I don't like personally. As you guys know, I'm a YouTuber and a content creator. I write stories. Well, when you have private clients, you have to use a lot more discretion. So you're not going to have those rides that generate the stories that help me as a content creator, that give me inspiration to create content. So when I do a private ride with somebody who is paying me, $500 to $1,000 to take them to the airport, you can't go and be like, oh yeah, today I took somebody to the airport and such happened. You know what I mean? So I personally, the way I've got things set up is I Uber drive and I say Uber, Lyft too, whatever, DoorDash, but for me it's mostly Uber to pay the bills. If I can bring home, I don't know, $4,500, $5,000 a month, I can pretty much pay my mortgage, pay my insurance bills, put some groceries in the, pay the light bill, stuff like that. You're not gonna get rich doing that. But Uber driving now gives me material to create content from. And there's content like you guys see on the YouTube channel, like stories or how to be a good Uber driver or whatever else. But there's also good content. I like to write creative stories and write about stuff like that. So, there you go. That's why I don't do private rides. That's why it's not a big thing. So I know the title of this is commercial auto insurance. I'm gonna just kind of give you guys an update again. I know some of you already heard this, but I want to kind of restate it. About a year ago, I did some research on one particular ride going from Ithaca to Syracuse. And that ride is about 60 miles. I did about 160 of them. I measured all of them. I figured out how much the passenger paid, how much I got paid, and I broke it all down. And the number that stood out to me over the 2-year time period I did that ride, the exact same ride, was commercial auto insurance. And even though it was 60 miles, same car, it was my Tesla, same driver, me, the commercial auto insurance rate fluctuated from $15 all the way up to $50. And so I did a YouTube video about it. I made a bunch of content about it. I wrote an article about it, etc. And went from that. And then from that commercial auto insurance video, I got in touch with a guy named Len Sherman, who's a professor at Columbia University. We did some more research together. He did the research, I didn't do it. And but my material and my name, my full name, was published in that report, and I wanted it to be my full name. And yeah, and that's what. So reporters have been contacting me, asking me to kind of break it all down. So let's do some more stuff here. Eric says, I walked away from Uber and Lyft because I knew they were stealing from me through commercial auto insurance. I don't do work for people who steal from me. Yeah, I understand that. I totally get it. So last week Wednesday, I think it was, I spent all day from about 9 in the morning till about 6 in the afternoon with a reporter. We did 3 sessions of 3 rounds of interviews. And, we went through all of my numbers, all of my details, and it felt like one of those Netflix movies. So I sat down, it's like, which camera do I look at? And kind of broke it all down. We did a ride along, and this was a really this is a really fun experiment. Here's what we did. We went to a very rural town, my town where I live, and I turned the Uber app on. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the gift. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Janole, I appreciate it. Thank you. So the experiment went like this. You're going to love this. This is so good. I turned the Uber app on, and she's like around the corner, and she turns her Uber app on to order a ride, and I'm the only Uber driver within like 20 miles. Like, so when she ordered an Uber, she got me. So I drove around the block, picked her up, her and the camera crew, and they got in the car. But it was a legit Uber ride, and I took her all the way to the place we were going. And that where we were going was where we were going to do the final interview. And she asked me questions along the way. But when we arrived at the destination, we did the reveal. How much she paid and how much I got. Now, before I tell you the details, it was about a 30-mile trip, give or take, from the middle of nowhere, my hometown, to down into the downtown city of Syracuse. 30-mile trip. How much do you think I got paid on this trip? And I'm going to be honest with you. I would have taken this trip 99 out of 100 times. Because it's almost rare that I would get a trip from my hometown, rural farming city, wherever I live, here in Cazenovia, New York, to Syracuse, New York. Another small town, but big for me. It's almost never. Normally, I just drive. I turn the Uber app on and I drive, and for 10, 15 minutes, I'm deadheading just to get 15 miles. So I'm doing 15, 20 miles of deadhead before I get my first ride, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So I would have taken this ride. Okay, now remember, it's a 33-mile trip into the city of Syracuse. Stevie, you say 30 bucks. Come on, anybody have any guesses on how much I got paid for this trip? Remember, Grant, I was the only Uber driver in town. Come on, let me see some more guesses here. Stevie says 30. 22. Whoa, okay, there you go. Oh, hold on, guys. That's all right. I'm gonna say goodbye to my mom. Hey, I love you.
Mwah.
See you in the morning.
Love you. Hey.
It's my mom.
Hey. Did you hear me say that?
That's my son.
Hello.
It's my son. I won't show you my wife. She doesn't want to say hello. $100? You think I got paid $100? Come on now. So we got 22, 19, Dominic, 19, 25, 25, 28. Come on, let's see some more. That's crazy. I'm in Denver. Okay, here's how much I got paid. 25 bucks. 25 bucks. That's what I got paid on that Uber ride. So it's a 33-mile trip from Cazenovia, New York to Syracuse, New York. And that's how much I made. You're right, TDA, that's right. So now the question is this. How much do you think she paid for the Uber? Okay, it's a 30-mile trip, 30-minute drive, give or take, something like that. She paid 65. There you go. It knows you drive to Syracuse. That's right. 75 bucks. She paid 70, says William. 65, 65. All right, 60. Come on, 100. Stevie's just throwing out numbers. TDA says she probably paid about 55. TDA says here. Stevie's just throwing out $100. Man, there ain't nobody paying that. Robert 58. Who said 70? William, you're correct. 70 bucks. So she paid 70 and I got 25. Bam. She paid $70 and I got 25. Isn't that crazy? It's so, that's the nuts of it all. So it's perfect. It's all on camera. And we both like show each other our phones at the exact same time. And she's blown away. She's blown away. She was like, I would have guessed you got $40. Right? Isn't that nuts? And so we broke it down. I think the commercial auto insurance for that one particular trip was $17 or $18, some sort of nuts number. Yeah, 35% exactly. Now it was a legit Uber ride, and I'll be honest with you, this is where I think a lot of Uber drivers have a problem with me as a content creator. Is I'm going to be honest with you, I would have taken that ride. $25 is more than I ever would have got normally, because normally I do that ride for free. Normally, I decide, oh, I want to go Uber drive and I want to go to Syracuse. I turn the Uber app on at my house and I drive for free into the city of Syracuse. So there's two things can be true at once, or many things can be true at once. It could be absurd that she paid 70 and I got 25. That ratio can be absurd. It can be absurd that Uber charges $17 for commercial auto insurance. But it can also be true that $25 is a trip that I would take, like I say, 99 out of 100 times. And so when we fault Uber, we have to take that into consideration. We have to take into consideration that it's I would have taken the ride. Right? And so is it Uber's fault that they know a driver like me would take that ride? And you and I, as consumers, we do the same thing all the time. We make price decisions all the time. So I don't think well, see, Robert, you say, okay, Robert, you said they know our weakness. Is that really our weakness? I don't think that's a weakness, and I know that's not necessarily the way you mean it or whatever. But I'm saying I just have to get to the city of Syracuse, and I'd rather get paid than not get paid. So TDA says, I wonder if we can opt out of their insurance. No, we cannot. You cannot opt out of it. Not, at least not here in the state of New York. I don't know how it is in other states. I don't know anything else about that. All I know is the way it is. What do you think they should keep as a business? Edgar asked. What do I think Uber should keep as a business? I think there's a couple ways to look at this. Because the easy answer is this, Edgar. As much as they can get. If you or I are in business, you and I want to make as much money as possible. If somebody's going to come to you and pay you $1,000, I'm making up a number, to go a half a mile, you're not going to be like, whoa, 1,000 is too much. You would probably take the money, So business, whether it's your business or Uber's business, you're in business to make as much money as possible. Now, I think when you're asking it is a little bit different in terms of maybe the moral question. Well, if you're taking advantage of low-income people, there is a problem with that. But they have to answer to somebody else, not to the legal, not to the law, not to anybody else. But I do think Uber's hurting their business by doing it this way. And the reason why I think Uber is hurting their business is that they're using human psychology against humans, whether it be me knowing I have to go to Syracuse for $25 or the person that orders a ride, I desperately need a ride, so they just charge you as much as they possibly can. And today, that's an algorithm or AI against a human, right? But I think tomorrow, I'm going to have AI on my team also. In fact, I kind of do. GigU is a sponsor of this channel. And GigU now connects to ChatGPT. And I haven't really tested it out too much. I've got some conversations with the team at GigU this week. I want to learn some more about it. But soon, GigU and AI are going to do a much deeper analysis of almost every single ride that I get. Not only is it priced right, But in addition to it being priced right, what do I want to go pick up people at that location? Do I normally get tips at that place or whatever else? So to answer your question, Edgar, it's immoral for us as humans to take advantage of low income people. And for the most part, Uber drivers are low income people. There's nobody making millions as an Uber driver, right? Now, there are some people that maybe make upwards of seven figures if they were to annualize some of the times they drive or whatever. But it's pretty much a minimum wage or just a little bit more than minimum wage job. But Uber doesn't have to answer to any of us morally. You have to answer to a higher power. You have to answer to God, right? And we're saying Uber as if Uber is a person, but Uber is a company, and there's umpteen thousand people that work there, to include the CEO and stuff like that. Look at Mexico, man. So I'm watching. Look how crazy it is there. People in Mexico are going to go nuts if they win this match. Have you guys been watching the World Cup? I'm a big soccer fan, so this has been a lot of fun. Let me scroll through the chat a little bit here. Let's see here. Yeah, I used Uber as a second income. That's pretty good, yep. See here, Uber driving dad. What's going on? It says, yeah, when I take a black trip and end up in the boondocks, I take comfort back to the city to not come back empty, at least pay for the gas. Yeah, exactly, right? So I don't think they're taking advantage of us. I think it's an opportunity to get a ride. And I know we like to pretend all rides should be priced the same, but there's that. Edgar says, what's up with Gig U? I don't know what you mean by that. Uber has no God, maybe. Let's see here. Stevie says, in Long Island, it's usual to drop pick up in the same area. Go back to back. It's not that bad. Yeah, for the most part, once I'm in the city of Syracuse or once I'm in a location, I just go back to back to back to back. But when I'm out in the country where I live, it is what it is. So I just there's not a lot of people ordering Ubers. If I turn the Uber app on at my house, I can go hours without getting an Uber ride. Is it a safe app to use? GigU? Yeah, GigU is safe. So GigU is based out of Brazil, and what GigU does is it's like a calculator. It does the math of the ride. So when a ride comes in and Uber tells you, here's how much you're going to pay or whatever it might be, it takes and breaks all the numbers down for you, and you can have it actually tell you how much profitability after your costs you're going to make on that ride. You as a driver still have to decide whether you want to take it or not. GigU doesn't work on iPhones. Not yet. I know they're working toward that, and I think there might be some news coming soon, but is GigU similar to the Solo app? I don't know about that. But GigU is great. They're my sponsor. So use the GigU app. Don't be using Solo. GigU is the place to be. No, it works really good, though. Here's what I like about GigU. When a ride comes in, GigU automatically takes a screenshot and puts it into my folder. So I have screenshots of every single ride, whether I took it or didn't take it. It automatically goes in. Then it does the math based upon the things that I care about. So for me, I got my cost at 30 cents per mile to drive my Tesla. And it takes the revenue of the ride, divides it by the number of miles, then puts it into the minutes and says, Levi, you're going to make, after expenses, you're going to make $26 an hour on this ride. So it normalizes the data. And then it shows it to me in red, yellow, green. Green it's a really profitable ride. You should take it. Yellow, maybe not so much. Red, don't take it. And I just like not having to worry about it. Yeah, it's not on iPhone yet. But it maybe soon. Do you think putting a sign or something in the back of your car that says you're a 5-star review, stuff like that, is a good idea? Brother Blaze, that's a good question. Maybe. I used to have an iPad set up where it was like trivia. I made my own trivia questions, like local Syracuse trivia questions. and I put it on an iPad. I had it as like almost like a kiosk of rolling questions. It was a lot of fun, but like every 5 minutes, it would say, "Hey, you know, your ratings and tips really help," or something like that. So there's that. What do you think of Maestro? I think Maestro is very similar. I don't know much about Maestro though. Now, here's what I would recommend. Um, I don't have any. By the way, I don't have anything in the back of my car right now. I have it seats, black floor mats, black seats, nothing else. Um, I don't have candies. I don't have waters. I don't have anything back there. And my tips are just as good as always. I think instead of having a sign, I think a better way to go about it would be is that if you have a good experience with a passenger, like you crushed it customer service wise, and whether they talk to you or not is not even relevant, but you know you did a great job, I would recommend you just say something about a minute or 2 minutes before the ride is over. Just say something like, "Hey, you know what? We're about a minute or two away from dropping you off. Where do you want me to take you?" And they might give you directions, like a place they want to go. Do you want to go on the right-hand side of the road or pull into the parking lot or anything else like that? And then once I get that out of the way, I'll say something like, "Hey, you know what? If you get a chance, please go back into the app before this ride is over and leave me a rating because those stars really help." And that's it. And when they go back into the app, even before the ride is over, they'll be prompted to give you a tip. So that's why I do that. What's up, Lisa? What's going on? Food Trader? What's going on? Hey. So I started this live stream mainly because I'm watching soccer and the game's not on. And so I thought I'd reach out to you guys and give you an update on the commercial auto insurance. What's going on, Anish? Eric says, "I had a clear plastic tip jar with a blue light in it." I think that's not a bad idea. Um, yeah, Dominic, it's a really simple thing. Um, you just want to prompt them to go back into the app. That's really all you want to do, Dominic. Because if you ask for a tip and you didn't earn it, you're not going to get it, right? Something like that. Um, and I think some people do get offended when people ask for tips or whatever, but you have to crush it. You have to have good, customer service. You can't have bad customer service. And if you do a great job, and you did, just ask for a rating. And sometimes I make it a little bit funny, like you do like a multi-stop ride. I don't do a lot of them, but you do one. Say something like, "Hey, it'd be great if you left me 5 stars for sitting there for a few minutes waiting for you. Um, if they ask for a special destination or a special stop, yeah, sure, no problem. Just leave me 5 stars." I think that really does help. I've never tried the Octopus Driver tablet. I've never tried that. Let's see here. Robert says, "Thank you for your service to this country and thank you for all the tips that you use." Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. See here. I believe almost all gig works on customer service. Yeah, for sure. You know, I get tips on about this summer. I'm averaging about half of my Uber rides. I'm getting tips, and my acceptance rate is up around 75% right now. Now I'm driving at kind of some odd times. I'm kind of staying in certain areas for the most part, but about half of my rides are giving me tips. And I think the reason why I've been earning a lot of tips is because I decided this summer that the minute I decide to take a ride, I go all in. I want to crush it for that person. I want them to go like, "That was the best Uber ride I've ever gotten." And you and I both know as drivers that each ride's a little bit different. Some people just want to have their headphones on and sit back and relax. So I turn the music down, to almost off on that ride. Then there are rides where they want to talk to me about Tesla. They want to see the autonomous features. Then there are rides where, people want to talk to me about God knows what all the time. And no matter what the ride is, I always load the luggage. I always, if it's groceries, I unload the groceries and take it to their front porch. I've taken groceries into people's kitchens before. And is it worth a dollar tip? I don't know. Probably not. But I just like doing it. And so if I'm going to give a ride, I'm just going to go all in. So I don't recommend it from a money making perspective. How's that sound? Let's see here. Let's see here. I have to take my glasses off to read now. It's getting dark in here. David says, when traveling back home, I'm finishing driving for the day. How often do you see the destination mode get? I never do. Once I turn the destination mode on, I never get a ride. Basically, I could be on the other side of the city of Syracuse and I turn the destination mode on. I might get one ride that's kind of on its way. Um, that's why I do so many deadhead miles. So, um, Uber driving dad says, careful with the Tesla conversation. It can turn political fast. Hey, this is Levi taking his glasses off to get political here for a second. It's not political. I don't care. No. I like authentic, real conversations. And Uber driving dad, when people want to be anti-Elon or pro-Elon Musk in my car, I let them. I facilitate that. I let them get as angry at Elon Musk or as happy as Elon Musk or Trump or whatever it is they want. I think there's two conversation things that I've learned that maybe I think can help. I have like a 3-sentence rule, maybe a 2-sentence rule, and that second or third sentence always ends in a question. If that makes any sense. Hey, thanks, Dominic. I appreciate it. Let me give you an example. Passenger says something like, oh, Elon Musk, he's an idiot. You know, I hate what he's doing with Trump, da 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 da. And I'll go something like, yeah, I could see that. That could be really frustrating. Why do you not like Elon Musk? And they'll go after it. And they're going to be in my car for 10, 15, 20 minutes. What do I care what they say? And I'm not saying I need to persuade them. See, I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people, we want to persuade people. I don't want to persuade. I like learning other people's perspectives, whether I agree with them or not. Now, I think Elon Musk is pretty spectacular, business-wise. Everybody's got their flaws, personality-wise, personal-wise, whatever. I think having multiple children with multiple non-brides or wives is a bad thing and stuff like that. But whatever. We all have our flaws, so I'm not going to judge that man just on that one particular thing. What I am going to say, though, is if somebody hates Elon Musk and gets in my car and they want to give me a riot and just tell me how much they hate Elon Musk, I just keep going deeper with them. Now, okay, so I try to talk. Oh, thanks so much, Eric. I really appreciate it. You're the best, man. I love all your comments on the channel. And Eric, every time you engage with my content, I think it elevates the dialogue. And I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. I really do appreciate it. Now, so conversation tactic number 1 that I really like when it comes to conversating with the passengers is kind of like my 1, 2, or 3 sentence rule. I try to talk as little as possible, but when I do answer a question, I try to ask them a question to let them talk more. If they don't want to talk, if you ask them a question and they go, uh-huh, or yeah, then they don't want to talk. So you can just let it be. Does that make sense? So it's kind of that thing. Now, the second thing about conversations that I have is the yeah, but. The yeah, but. I understand, but that but is a super helpful thing. All right? Okay, let me give you an example of that. It's called verbal judo. All right? So let's say a passenger says something like, hey, can you take me over there? Let me go inside and get some cigarettes. I'll tip you in the app or whatever, but I don't want to do it. I'll say something like this. Oh, man, I would love to take you over there to get some cigarettes, but I can't. because Uber won't let me do it or whatever. Other drivers do it all the time. I know they do, but I've got another ride set up that I really want to get on, and so I need to get to that ride. I wish I could help you, but so it's called verbal judo, and I learned it when I was in the military. So I was a cop for a little while in the military, and I used to work at the front gate. And if you work the front gate like at like 2 or 3 in the morning, everybody that comes through the gate to get onto the base looks drunk, right? Everybody looks drunk, and so they train you on how to handle drunk people, and that training would be like drunks are gonna yell at you, "Oh, you're a jerk for pulling me over," or da 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 da. They'll start yelling and cursing at you, and you're like, "I know I'm a jerk, but you were still speeding." Or they'll say, "It's not fair that you pulled me over because I didn't have my license." And you'd be like, "I know it's not fair, but I did pull you over and I got to do it." But BUT. Just so those are my 2 recommendations on how to be a talker or hold a conversation with people in the car. Number 1, keep your answers concise. Be to the point, and then ask them a question. Let them answer, and they'll let you know the direction, the way the conversation is going to go. If they want to get political and tell me how much they hate Trump or love Trump, or how much they hate the Buffalo Bills or love the Buffalo Bills, or hate Tesla, I don't care. But you have to be genuinely curious. You can't pull it off if you're not interested in what they're going to say. So let's pretend for a second you hate Trump. Let's pretend. I don't know. I don't know where you stand in your life when it comes to Trump, whatever. I'm going to pretend you hate Trump. And I come to you and I say, yeah, I'm in your Uber. Now you're the driver and I'm the passenger, right? And I go, man, what Trump did for the 4th of July in New York City was amazing. Trump is like the best president ever. Now, again, in this scenario, you hate Trump, right? You hate Trump. If you hate Trump, I know a lot of people, they have a visceral hate for Trump, right? You know what I mean? Okay. Like Trump consumes their mind, right? The way that Obama consumed other people's minds. I don't really care. I'm not that passionate about it, but I know some people get really passionate about it. But let's just pretend you're passionate about hating Trump for a second. All you have to do is say, oh, you really liked that 4th of July parade, the Trump thing. What did you like about it? That's it. That's all you have to do. Turn it back on. And they're going to tell you what they like about it. You don't have to, like be a supporter of Trump or hate Trump or anything. You can just ask. So I understand. Yeah, Eric says I do. I hate Trump. Is that what you do, Eric? You hate Trump? That's fair. Let's see here. Luke says, we're driving right now in the Bay Area. Honestly, you kill it, Levi. Thank you so much. I think the same way. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Do the best that we can. That's exactly right. We're doing the best because this is what the best we can do at the job. Exactly. I think it's the best job we can do right now. All the political crap is driving everyone so crazy. Yeah, I agree. You want to hear? Do you guys want to hear my thoughts on politics? I went to grad school for this stuff. I went to grad school for economics and politics and stuff like that. If I see enough comments in the comment section, I will give you my 2 cents on politics. You're probably going to be very unimpressed, but I will definitely give it to you. Let's see here. Dominic says, yes, I want to hear. Come on, anybody else want to hear? Come on. Come on, let's see here. What do we got here? Anybody else? Yes. All right. That's 2 yeses. That's more than enough. All right. I'll give you my thoughts on politics. All right. TDA. Once a member says yes, I got to do it, right? All right. Of course, Lisa does. All right. Here you go. All right. Politics is this. We put everything under this umbrella of politics. But that's not really the way it works out. Okay, there's actually 4 things when it comes to politics. Number 1, there's campaigning, right? That's when there's a presidential election or whatever else, they do debates, they buy ads. That's campaigning to get elected. I can tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 about my level of caring about campaigning is a 0. I don't watch political ads. I don't really watch the debates. I could care less about campaigns. I just don't. Right? So this campaigning is number one. Now, once somebody gets into office, there's the real thing of politics. Politics, from what you and I as citizens are, that's kind of like the backroom dealing, wheeling and dealing, politicking for that. And what are they politicking? That third thing, law, legislation, law, policy. Now, let's pretend for a second there's a law being debated, being politicked, or whatever about Uber passing a minimum wage for drivers. You and I, we care about a law like that. No matter where we stand on it, we care about that law. Here's the thing about it. I don't pay attention to any of that either. Do you know why? Not a darn thing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. So, any of the news, a war in Iran, whatever, I have zero, even though it impacts me and I care, there's nothing I can do about it. So, campaigning, I don't care about. Politicking, I don't know much about it because it's happening behind the scenes to some extent. And the actual laws being passed, there's not much I can do about it. Now, here's the third thing. What's going on still? All right, here's the third or the fourth thing, the final piece to it. Economics. That's where, so all the other stuff I could care less about. Economics, after a law or after a bill becomes a law, we've all seen that, that funny cartoon from the 70s, right? Bills becoming a law. But after a bill becomes a law, the only way we know if that law is effective is through economics. And economics we think about in terms of money, but just the outcome of that law, right? So in the state of New York, Uber in the state of New York worked together to come up with the minimum wage law for New Yorkers. I was surprised. I didn't even know it was happening, and it just happened, right? And it was kind of behind the scenes, and Sergio and Chris didn't know either. Torsten didn't know. None of us knew. It was all happening behind the scenes. Boom. Next thing you know, law gets passed. Because there was a lawsuit going on. Boom. There's a new law. Now, how that law, if we can measure the effectiveness of that law. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. You're the best. I appreciate it. Yeah, please join, guys. Please join the membership. Thank you so much. How that law, Lisa, you're like my best fan. You're so good. Lisa, we gotta go to Panera and get some more coffee and cookies one time, Lisa. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're the best. Okay, how that law gets measured, the effectiveness of that minimum wage law, that interests me. And that's where I spend my time. Thank you so much, Lisa. So that's my thoughts on politics. I just don't get wrapped around what laws or what Trump says or what Obama did or anything else like that. When I get informed, thanks so much, TDA, you're the best. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's another. Please join the membership, people, everybody. It's going to be really good. I tried it. Vinny Cuz joined the membership. There you go. I see you out there. All right. Now, when I go to vote, about a week before I go vote, I get up to speed. Because voting is the only thing I can do. Still rocks. There you go. Welcome to the membership, guys. Thrive. So that's my thoughts on politics. It doesn't mean I like or hate Trump or whatever. I have my own feelings. I can't let it affect me. I think that's what I noticed when okay, let's go back in time. If you're old enough, and I'm old enough, do you remember how much people hated Ronald Reagan? Ronald Reagan was the devil, right? And then do you remember how much they hated Clinton? I remember that. Clinton was this horrible, evil guy, philanderer, right? Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, please join the membership. TDA, Lisa, U-Turn, you're the best. Eric, thank you again for that gift. All the coins from, yeah, you guys are the best. I really appreciate it. Um, Clinton, remember, then Bush. Remember Bush invaded Iraq? Do you remember how much people hated Bush? And then Obama. Do you remember like people thought Obama wasn't even like a citizen and how much they hated him? And then now they hate Trump. I'm just saying it's not worth my mental health energy. I just I can't get, I can't get too much wrapped up about it. Oh, look at Mexico City, guys. Look at that place. Have you been watching the World Cup? All right. Since we got a few more minutes, okay, so I want to kind of go back to what I posted about. All right, membership. Thank you, guys. Welcome to Thrive. William, thank you. Welcome to Thrive, guys. Okay. What's happened? I want to make sure you guys kind of know. I want to talk about the World Cup, though. Hang with me. I want to talk about the World Cup, but I want to go back to what I started this live stream about, just so people that are joining the live stream late that saw the title to it. About a year ago, I made a video on 100 some odd rides. They were all going the same they were 60-mile rides, and the commercial auto insurance was $15 or $50, and it made no sense. So I made a video about it. It got to my friend. It got to my friend Lynn Sherman. He's a professor at Columbia University. He teaches economics, and he did some more research, published it all. And when he published his research about 3-4 weeks ago, my name was all in it. I was the representative driver, and I use you guys know me. I use my first and last name, Levi Spires. I don't hide behind anonymity of a fake username or anything like that. So, and I make sure that, my data is what it is. So as soon as that report got published, reporters started reaching out to me. And so if you were to go search my name in Google News, you're going to see my name in a lot of newspaper reports. Well, last week, not a newspaper, but a reporter flew out here to Syracuse to interview me. We spent the whole day together riding around, and we did some experiments, and we did like a Netflix style interview. And it could be a 10, 20-minute interview coming up. It could be, I don't know what it's going to be when they publish the video. And then in about 2 weeks, another team is coming out to do another interview with me to do that. So it's all about commercial auto insurance. And I think insurance in general is a scam. Health insurance, commercial, you name it. I think it's all a scam. So, and it looks to me like Uber is making money off of their commercial auto insurance. So that's kind of what's been happening. So that's why I started this live stream. I want to make sure that's there. Let's go through the chat real quick here. William, thanks for joining the membership. Let me shout out to the new members here. We got Dominic, Vinny, Miss Angry. Okay, there you go. Positive. It's funny. It's so funny. One's Miss Angry, one's positive. That's great. Yinzer. I see your TDA, Lisa. Thank you so much, TDA, Lisa. Eric, again, thank you so much for that. That gift. I really appreciate it. So William says, he goes, it is that I got into a car accident, not at fault, and their car insurance company is trying to throw me under a bus. See, that's what I'm saying. We pay, I looked at the numbers. I'm paying almost $2,000, a little over $2,000 a month in commercial auto insurance through Uber. And it's just a complete ripoff. And it doesn't have to be this way. So I'm gladly getting into the news, using my name to get Uber to fix this. Now, at the same time, I don't think it's illegal. So I'm not making the claim that it's illegal. I have no idea what they're doing. But I do think it's important that it's pointed out and that the information's in the news. So I've been doing that. All right. Let's talk about World Cup. Have you guys been watching the World Cup? Right? It's been great. So I got the soccer game going on right there. All right. Tim, thank you so much. Thanks for being a member. Yeah, you make a difference in our community. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Now, the World Cup, I think you and I have a perspective that most Americans don't have when it comes to the World Cup. In fact, I'm going to make a video about it tomorrow, I think, for the channel. But since you guys are here live, you're going to kind of get the thesis of this video, my log line, my idea behind this video. Um, if you've seen the videos of all the Europeans coming to America and just loving America, like getting ice, free refills. The Japanese people, do you remember the video where they're like, we got chips and salsa. We didn't even order it. We're not worthy of chips and salsa, right? it's been so it's been so great because kind of speaking to that politics thing that I was talking about earlier, I think politics in America, the people that get really involved in it, they get a negative view of America, right? And they're thinking, oh, how America is broken and it's always negative, whether it's Obama, Trump, it doesn't really matter, whatever. It gets so negative. Oh, thanks, Carlos. I appreciate it. Yeah, please. Don't drive for Uber for me though. Yeah, the Scotland guys drinking Boston Dry is great. Right, so all these Europeans, they watch the news like anybody else, and you'd think America is falling apart. You'd think America is just a broken country and it's just horrible. Now, most of us Americans, the people not like us as drivers, they kind of live in little bubbles. And those bubbles are like, I live at my house, I live in my neighborhood, and I commute to my work. I go to maybe the same grocery store, go to the same restaurants, and their little bubbles are all the same. They very rarely get outside of that bubble. They very rarely interact with people that are strangers. But you and I, we interact with strangers all the time. If I go on an Uber drive, out of the 20 rides I give, 20 of them are strangers, people I've never met before, right? And they're almost all lovely, nice people. Yeah, I get every now and then I get somebody that I don't like or whatever. And out of the 15,000 rides, maybe I've had 10 or 20 that were really, really bad. But I deal with strangers all the time in a very intimate environment in my car. And everybody is extremely positive and nice and happy. And America seems like a great place. And so as I'm watching all these videos of people from Germany coming over to America, and they were expecting to get shot, robbed, whatever, all these horrible videos about America, the reality is America's an amazing place. America's amazing. And so watching the World Cup and all these people traveling around our country, just experiencing it for the first time, being super happy and super positive, has been just amazing for me to watch. But for me as a driver, and I think for you as a driver, you probably have that same experience. It doesn't mean America's perfect. America is not perfect. I'm not saying anything's perfect. But I've been around the world. I've been to dozens and dozens of countries. I've lived in these countries. And I still think America is the best one. I know I'm biased. And I loved all the places I've lived before, whether I lived in Japan, when I lived in the Middle East, I lived around the world. I loved all the countries I really, truly did. But America is the place that people are doing everything they can to sneak across the border, whatever you want to say. They want to be here. And I think you and I as drivers get to meet people like that all the time. So, hey, so let's take a look here. Game's about to start. There you go. All right, so tell me, do you have any World Cup stories? Have you guys been watching? I'm about to shut this down here, but I would love to do that. Let's see here. Bye, Levi. About to go watch the game. I know Mexico, England's going to be epic, right? Those of us who've been in other countries and explored different cultures have that unique perspective. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever went to a bad country. I've been to a lot of them, and they had things that I liked and didn't like. But if I chose, I would choose to live in America. Eric, thank you so much for the gift. Lisa, TDA, thank you so much. I think it was, let's see here. I know one of you gave me the coins. I wish I could keep a track of who gave the coins. I know I saw it. I'm going to go back. I'm scrolling back through the chat. I want to see it here again. Where's the coin? Well, Dominic. I think it was you, Dominic, right? I'm going to give you credit for it, Dominic. That's right. Guys, I'm going to watch the game. The game's about to happen. I'm cheering for Mexico to win. I want to see Mexico crush it. But yeah, that'd be great. Hey, I wish you guys the very best. Drivers, please be safe, healthy, and happy, and know that I'm cheering for you. I'm gonna try to do more live streams. Every time I do a live stream, I just love connecting with you guys. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. Be well. Hey, welcome all the new members. All right, take care.